Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Anyway.
Merry Christmas Eve. I'm happy we're actually getting
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah, really happy to do. Yeah, as you can see, now actually we already talked, but now I'm doing for the recording. This is going to be video, right? Or
Yeah,
just
video
audio?
too. Yes.
Video, yeah. So I put my my
Your
Christmas,
Christmas sweater on.
my reindeers jumping all over me here, and the trilogy
The
behind. So
trill.
yeah,
How
we.
happy were you to cut your hair finally?
No, so yeah, so I'm assuming you're talking about my hair in the second movie, and we put the word to sleep.
Yes, yes, yeah. We put the world
Yeah,
to sleep. You have the
yeah.
crazy hair.
No, I did not. I was not bothered at all actually with that hair because in high school I did have long hair, and also in my first year in college. So I knew I was a little bit of a this type of a or at least I was trying to be. I don't know. I thought it's cooler to have long hair, to be a bit of a rebel and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
the hair didn't bother me. The darkness, the extreme darkness of the character. This is what affected me, and I struggled with that, but not the not the physical stuff.
Yeah, because I was watching an interview of yours and you said you were in character for 7 years.
Well, yeah, partially, I would say, because you cannot. I mean, I think if I was full in character for 7 years, I'd be in a mental hospital right now. That's not something you can. I think you can easily recover from. Um, so I would say partially, in the sense that and when I say partially, I don't mean that let's say for 2 hours a day I'm in character, for the other hours I'm out of character. No, some of the actions that I was doing. Let's give you an example. Um, I have to relax. One day I have to relax, and I want to play a game. Uh, I do not choose the game that I would normally play. I'm thinking, okay, what would my character play? So therefore I'm playing like an apocalyptic game, something darker. But the thing is that when you do this over a period of years, whenever, from time to time throughout the day, you have to make choices. Oh, what am I going to do this? What am I going to do today? If a part of those choices you will choose actions that your character would do, then this has a toll on you, because it's not just our thoughts influencing our actions, also our actions influencing our thoughts, and yeah, that's something dangerous, I must say, that I did, and that I will never ever repeat in my life.
Oh, really? So you wouldn't do that
Yeah.
again?
No, never, because it took me like a year to get rid of that darkness, and it was horrible.
So what can you give like a little synopsis of the movie so people know before I like go into it more?
Yeah, so we put the word to sleep. I don't think I can disclose more than already what I wrote on IMDb. That short plot line, that there are these two guys, Adrian and Duru, or Adrian and Duru, whatever you want to spell, Romanian or English spelling, and they are together, and they go on this together journey to 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 save the world, actually, from suffering. The problem is that they are saving the world from suffering by ending it, because they realize that the world evolved via suffering, and life on planet Earth evolved via competition, conflict. Therefore, they think the only way to end suffering and to end the chain of suffering is to end our life. And for you end life, we have no more problems. So there are this type of um, they have something from the anti-hero mentality, because they don't want to, but they're very paradoxical, because they don't want to do bad, they want to do good. So by wanting to do the ultimate good, they actually do it by doing the ultimate bad. I don't know. It's both at the same time. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So anyway, that's their goal. But what happens actually in the movie, that's something I do not wish to discuss because I would spoil it so much.
And I don't want you to because I like going blind into movies. I went
Yeah.
into Be My Cat blind other than hearing it was a really good movie, and I think that makes it such a more enjoyable experience when you have to you're like, "Wait, your mind has to process what you're actually seeing."
Yeah. It's a uh, we put the word to sleep. Yeah, it's a partial sequel to Be My Cat. Um,
What do you mean
there
by that,
will
by
be,
partial sequel?
yeah. What I mean by that, I mean,
Same character or different character?
I cannot talk about these things.
Okay.
I really cannot talk. I'm trying to be careful to say things without saying too much, without spoiling it.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
it is a
yeah.
trilogy, so I was very, you know.
Yeah. It's loosely linked, the trilogy. So when you will see we put the word to sleep, you will definitely see the connection. Somebody from our team, uh, not the immediate team, the producing team. It's a producer from another project that we are working with. So I sent him the screener, the working progress of the film, and he watched it, and his opinion was like, wow, but you definitely got to first see Be My Cat, as an audience in order to fully get We Put the Word to Sleep. But I must say I disagree with him, because when I watch it, I think it's such a different movie from Be My Cat, like completely different. Yet there are connections. So maybe he's right in a way. Maybe one would enjoy We Put the Word to Sleep more by watching Be My Cat first. But anyway, let's see.
Was
I
it
don't know. I'm
created
not
with
sure
that
yet.
in mind? When you first thought of Be My Cat, was it a trilogy that you had in mind with these stories set in place?
No, I Be My Cat was Be My Cat. I didn't have plan for the second, third, or whatnot. After I finished the movie, and I believe after the it got selected to the first festival, I think that's when um, I had the inspiration for We Put the Word to Sleep, and the inspiration for We Put the Word the initial inspiration for We Put the Word to Sleep was I think there were two inspirations for We Put the Word to Sleep. One was like one night I was listening to this. I think Moonlight Sonata. Yeah, Moonlight Sonata, Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. And it was a YouTube video. Somebody put it on the background of some dark waves. You know, and those dark waves and the Moonlight Sonata gave me the feeling of this melancholical end of the world. Like this the idea of going peacefully hand in hand into extinction. In the darkness of the waves of the sea. I don't know. It just gave me this
Yeah.
apocalyptic, uh, interesting feeling. And then I thought, wow, I gotta do a film based on this. It just sparked in that moment when I was watching that. And probably my guess is that um, what is the name of that? There was an apocalyptic film made in the 90s, which was a remake from another one from the 50s or the 60s. On the Beach. On the Beach was called. And again, I as a child, I did not watch the original. That one is very appreciated from what I've heard. As a child, I only saw the remake from the 90s. And it stayed with me. There is a scene towards the end. So the world, I think, was coming to an end or something like that. But they were they were on the shore, dressed in white, the waves, the sun, everything was so peaceful, and so beautiful. And I think as a child or teenager, I'm not sure exactly, I was struck by this contrast, and like being there, seeing the sea, being so relaxed. The actors are playing as if nothing is going to happen, but at the same time, that the world is ending. So it's something that touched me with this. And you will see also some contrasting, I think, different kinds of contrasts, and we put the word to sleep as well. And this was an inspiration that I had. Another inspiration was something darker, actually, something quite disturbing. There was at some point a serial killer, Anatolio Onoprienko. So he was a serial killer in the beginning of the 90s in Ukraine. I believe in the newly formed Ukraine immediately after they split from the Soviet Union. So he was named the Terminator of Eastern Europe or something like that. So this guy would literally go from home to home, kill everybody, burn the house, and steal some of their objects. Like literally would go from village to village and leaving total mayhem behind. So at some point, he was caught by the police. He was caught by the police after he also killed in one of the homes he entered. He also killed an infant, actually, not just the family. And the police asked him, like, why did you also kill the infant? I mean, the infant, he was too little. He was a baby. He couldn't recognize you or testify against you or anything like that. I mean, it makes sense that you kill the adults so they don't talk. Why would you do that, you know? And his response was that he grew in an orphanage without parents and being submitted to horrific abuses. So he wouldn't want any other child to go through that. So since he killed his parents, he didn't want the child to go through the same thing that he went through. So this concept, you know, of somebody who is evil, who does a horrific act, but in his mind, he does it for a good cause. You know, that something like tickled me. This contrast, you know, this paradoxical human nature. You know, sometimes human nature can be so weird, so contradictory. You know, so hard to understand. And this is what uh, tickled my interest. You know, and to go in these areas that are kind of difficult. You know, about human nature. You know, that you cannot. You know, you see darkness, but at the same time, oh, just a second, but he didn't mean darkness. He meant something light. He meant something
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
How do
yeah.
you
So
put yourself in that mindset over, like in the beginning of when you first started? How do you become that character? How do you do that?
we're talking about we put the word to sleep or be my cat.
We put the world to sleep about that. So you see that character as that person, that serial killer is like an inspiration almost for the character. How do you put
Yeah.
yourself in that mindset to become them?
How do you put yourself in that mindset? Ah, this was a more complicated process. With Be My Cat, for example, with Be My Cat, it was I believe it was not easy. It was hard. Again, like 1 year
And
of
you
living in
1 year
character.
you were in character, I think I
Yeah, yeah. Again,
yeah.
partially, but nonetheless. But in that case, things were more clear from the character. I mean, I knew what I had to do. I have to isolate from myself, you know, to not interact with friends, to spend all the time inside with my mom. I literally moved with my mom, you know, and live the way his character, the way this loner lives, you know, with his with his mom, and this obsession, obviously, for a celebrity and all this stuff. Things were more clear. Here, for the character, and we put the word to sleep, it was a bit more complicated because I decided to push things further in terms of improvisation. If in Be My Cat, let's say the movie was half improvised and half scripted, um, but still there was a structure. You know, there was a very clear structure that I had to stick to. It was more planned in that regard. We put the word to sleep. I felt like let's push things even further with improvisation. Not only improvise the dialogue, you know, what if we also improvise the story or even the character as we go along, you know? What if even the story and the character evolves with the improvisation? You know, that's a bit of a more crazier thing that I did. And again, something I will never do again. It was madness.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so that's why because of that, there are and so many years, you know, there were so many years shooting this, and there are two chapters. Uh, there are different things about my character in We Put the World to Sleep, which are so different from each other, and also the methods that I used to work on those characters are also so different and spread towards a longer period of time that it would be hard for me to pinpoint um, a certain thing that I did. What I do, for example, I can give you just random examples, because there are so many things that I did, and
Yeah.
all these things
It's
came
7 years
together
of
to
your
build
life.
the
I
character.
understand.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're a different person
And
now than you were when you started completely,
just an
even if you
example.
never made a movie.
It's just to give you an example, some of my Facebook posts, for example, were kind of written like partially in character, or the type of news that I was reading. I was reading a lot of anti-establishment news. I mean, I remember those were the times when there was this huge split between Trump on the other side, Hillary on the other side, Republicans and Democrats. But my character, he is bringing everything to an end. He's not choosing left or right. To him, they're both part of the same chain of wrong. So what's wrong with the world? Therefore, everything must end. So therefore, my posts in that period were more anti-establishment. Like some were criticizing Trump, some were criticizing Hillary. I was criticizing both. So and for example, I took a lot of heat from both. From both from both sides on my social media. I think
Yeah.
some people unfriended me and stuff like that, and that's a little bit surreal, and a little bit, I don't know. I would say a little bit. It's very complicated, because it's a you get influenced. Your life. I mean, you start. Here's the thing: first. You do some of the things. I don't know how to explain this to you. I know how to explain this to you. It's not. It's not very clear. When you work on a role like this for such a long period of time, at some point things get blurred in the sense that you're not always 100% sure um, how much of what you think, how much of your thoughts and your actions were influenced by the character, and how much were actually uh, uh, real thoughts or ideas of yours that were just magnified to 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 suit the character. I don't know. It's so complicated. I don't even know how to explain this.
No, I get what you. All right. Let me try
Yeah.
to explain it in the way that I think I hear you
Okay,
saying it
please.
in a way. My full thing is I'm a stand-up comedian. That's what I've been doing. That's what I do. But to be a comedian, you can't take anything seriously. Anything. Because you have to only see the world as jokes. But that kind of fucks with your personal life when you have to take things seriously. Because I'll
Mm,
see things that I probably should take seriously in my life. But because I've changed my world view to be this character of a comedian, I have to take everything not seriously. And then you start to fight yourself of what is the artist and what is your personality. And that's
yeah.
a very blurred line. It's like a Venn diagram where the older you get and the more you are an artist, the more they become like one circle. And that kind of alienizes probably people who knew you before that art was created.
Yeah, yeah. It's for Be My Cat, things were much clearer for me. So there was no such thing as things being blurry for me. Things are blurry for a lot of the people who discovered the movie. Some of them think that, oh, is this guy really a psychopath? Does he really have an obsession for Anne Hathaway? And sometimes I do get those questions. And I try to explain to people that no, it's just a role. I have nothing for Anne Hathaway.
You're like, I don't
Um,
even like Anne Hathaway.
Uh, when I picked her for Be My Cat, there were a number of reasons why I picked Anne Hathaway, but I also wanted this obsession to start from something real. So I wanted it to start from a genuine appreciation for her as an actress,
Mhm.
and I loved her performance in Les Miserables. So and then I tried to magnify, like to put a very ugly, dirty magnifying glass on a normal, genuine appreciation for an actress, and to kind of transform it into an obsession for my character, you know. But there was never a moment in my life when I was like, oh my God, am I really obsessed with Anne Hathaway? No, it was very clearly, so that's
Can you go
me,
back and watch her
genuine.
films now? Like, will you watch an Anne Hathaway film now, or are you so connected to it that you can't?
I haven't had the interest to rewatch, but I'm a person that rarely rewatches movies, by the way. I must tell you this about me. I usually watch once, and then second time I don't fully enjoy it that much. Very few movies are the ones that I could enjoy
I'm
the
very
the
similar. I'm that same
second
way.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I feel flattered, but also very much like wow, like when some people tell me that they watched Be My Cat the 10th time or something like that, and I'm like, be like, God, like, what do you see there the 10th time? Like, okay, I'm flattered, but but
Yeah.
nonetheless, it's yeah.
How
Um,
did your family and friends feel the first time making Be My Cat when you kind of like had to, not all the time, but be the character versus like, I mean, 7 years, I feel like people probably had opinions.
um, Family and friends. So let's see. So my mom did watch Be My Cat back then. But unfortunately, I didn't have Romanian subtitles. This was a super indie project, and it mostly went to festivals outside of Romania. It did go to two important Romanian festivals, but that was a longer cut of the film. But then when I had the shorter cut, I didn't have any more subtitles for that. So she watched it without Romanian subtitles, and she didn't understand much of it um, because she's not she doesn't know English very well. Um, I'm hoping actually now, after 10 years or so, to show her the film with the. I'm gonna use AI to translate the English subtitles for her to watch the film, and
What did she
and
think about
risk.
you living with her and becoming this character for a year and not even knowing what it is coming on, like becoming?
Yeah, she didn't really have a grasp, I think, of what's happening or what I was doing. It was just me in my world and her with her own world, and I don't think she really had a grasp of what was happening or
Who were
um,
you before that? Like what were you doing? What who were
I
you
was yeah,
before
I was
being
in
my cat?
Bucharest. Yeah, so I was in Bucharest. I was acting in a. I just finished my master's, so I was living in a rented apartment. I had two other colleagues. There was this type of rental space where one room goes to one side, the other room goes to the other side, and we split the rent because otherwise it was too expensive for us as uh, as kids who just finished their masters, and they were trying to survive from theater shows. Practically, you said you're a stand-up comedian, so
Yes.
practically what I was doing. I was going because there was no space in actual theaters, like big professional theaters. So we would play in bars, in clubs, in all types of improvised spaces. So I would play this character, which was very similar to my character in Be My Cat. There was this psychopathic guy who was showing up in front of the audiences, and the audiences were the committee in his mental institution. So his meeting with the audiences was like his meeting with the committee, and he was trying to convince the committee that he is sane. And while trying to convince the committee while he is saying that he is sane and deserves to be released, he would talk in a very light manner about a lot of horrible things that he did to this actress that he was obsessed with and stuff like that. So this was
And
again,
you're
it was
just going up to bars and just doing this without telling people what's happening.
no, no, no. They knew it was a show.
Oh,
It
whoa,
was
whoa,
a
whoa,
show.
whoa. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
you were like,
okay, I get it now. Wow, that would be some crazy performance art. What you just said. That would be really really uh, fringe theater.
Oh, so you were doing Be My Cat almost as like a one-man play.
Yeah, exactly. And there was not it not was not Be My Cat. It was called The Monster, and that show uh, had a lot of success in this indie underground um, scene, but it was not really what I wanted to do because, again, it felt like too many sacrifices, so much work on that character. Again, living in character a lot because the character of Be My Cat evolved over a period of 2000, from 2009 to 2014. So literally over a period of 5 years, it evolved. And again, you can call it in a way partial living in character. Because during that period, I would play this show, let's say maybe once a month or something like that, and I had to keep it alive. And every time I was discovering it, every time I invented new ways to kind of approach the character, and I always approached it from this perspective: the idea of living, of experiencing in life or online at least some of the things that this guy is experiencing. Um, so I yeah. So when I saw that that show is really successful, but successful to a very limited group of audiences, and also it's impossible to make a living out of it, impossible to spread what I wanted to, the type of art that I wanted to show to the world about directing, about acting. It was not about the. By the way, it was never about initially. It was not about the subject because the subject was suggested to me at the end of college by one of my classmates acting in the acting school in college. We needed some monologues to play some type of psychos. So he found this random monologue on the internet and just recommended it to me about this guy who again was obsessed with an actress and something like that. With his sister's cat, he had some problems. So there was this cat element and actress element. So he said like, "Oh, what about you try this monologue? I think you would be good with this with this one." And I tried it and I liked it. So I ended up doing this. Uh, so therefore, as you can see later, that monologue became a full one-man show, and then the character in the one-man show got adapted for the movie and also kind of inspired the movie, the character. So it was this very long evolution. But what's important here is that the subject, the idea of obsession with an actress or the idea with cats and all this stuff, they were like came from the outside ideas. So this is not something that I wanted to say as an artist, like, oh, I didn't necessarily want to talk about obsession with stars or about cats or anything like that.
Yeah.
This just happened. What I did want to say to the world were I wanted to talk about improvisation. That's why you have the meta structure in Be My Cat, because in a way I wanted people when they watch the movie to also get a taste of the type of 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 sacrifices that I did as an actor for this role, like living in character for such a period of time, and to the point
Yeah.
of really affecting my personal life. So that's why this is the meta thing in the film, and him talking about, oh, this is the ultimate sacrifice, and he's killing Sonia and said, Sonia, now you will die for your role. So the inspiration for his psychotic gestures, which are connected to acting and filmmaking, the base for that, those are actual things that actors and filmmakers do, only that he's pushing them to extremes practically. But through the meta way that the movie is done, I wanted still people to have kind of access to the process of this being created, and to hopefully inspire new generations of filmmakers. And that's why I get so happy when from time to time, I receive messages from people and they say, oh my God, I got so inspired from your film. Now I'm making my own movie thanks to you. And it's somebody wrote to me that, oh, I'm a script writer, and your film like really helped me so much write better characters. And I told him like, oh my God, you know that my movie didn't have a script? That's incredible to get this from you. So this is what one thing that I want to say with Be My Cat. And another thing that I want to say with Be My Cat, I wanted to make this, to talk about the paradoxical human nature. You know, this is something that as I told you already about, we put the word to sleep. I always felt like talking about the paradoxical human nature, and putting a mirror in front of audiences where they can see their darkest subconscious impulses reflected, but also maybe hopefully their brightest and cutest aspirations as well. Because although he's doing horrible things, in the end he also dreams about love and marriage. You know, there's some misdirected purity there in all that darkness. You know,
He's committing to the
so
art. He's trying to
yeah,
fully embrace being an artist. And that's
yeah.
that's so funny hearing you say that, because other than the movie being like scary or whatever, your acting skill is probably the number one draw or to the film, or like the recommendation is you are such a good actor that very rarely does it, at least for me, very rarely do I forget that someone's acting. But with you, it really is that way in the improvisation, where like you
Thank you so
almost
much.
forget
And
that you're watching a movie.
I can tell you it's a lot of this. It's thanks to the acting to the acting to the acting method that I had in Romania. You know, there was this genius, this brilliant acting teacher who revolutionized literally the Romanian acting school, called Ion Kojar. So I didn't study directly under him. Sadly, he passed away kind of while I was in college. But I studied with uh, with one of his students practically, and one of his former students, who kind of is the continuator of his method. And he was really crazy, you know, like he
What are the
demanded.
methods of his school of thought?
So yeah. So they are kind of split in uh, it's kind of split in three. Let me start with so there is one, the pedagogical one, like the pedagogy, the teaching one, then the acting part, and then the directing part. On the directing part, because he was also a theater director, not just a teacher of actors. On the directing part, he was seeking to do these theater shows where people would come and they would not find any element whatsoever to remind them that it's a show. They would be like, "Oh my God, is this happening for real? Should we step on the stage and intervene?" Like he was seeking that type of realism. And later on, years on, when I decided to go into film, I had this realization. It struck me like, just a second, what he was trying to do in Romania in theater, unaware, these guys, Eduardo Sanchez, Mirik, were trying to do with the Blair Witch Project and with the found footage in America, you know, oceans apart, you know, trying to make a film that doesn't look like a film, that looks like reality. So this is the type of theater show that he was doing. Then, in terms of acting, he was having this method of acting uh, that the actor practically shouldn't act. You know, that you should actually go to through a genuine transformation. You know, and I'm not talking about when you become the character. I'm talking the genuine process while you are acting. You know, while you're interacting with your acting partner while the scene is happening. You know, that thing needs to happen for real. Yeah, he was talking a lot about, like, you cannot know what will happen. You know, even though you have the script, you need to forget the script, you need to forget the line. You don't know what will happen. Everything needs to hit you. You know, like literally to everything must be like a shock, like an emotional shock to you, because then audiences will see and they will feel that what's happening to you is real, it's not acted. And his idea was like, oh, if you act, yeah, maybe you can do it very well. I mean, if you pretend, but audiences will not fully empathize with that, you know. they will feel that this is not real. Yeah, maybe a great performance, but this is not really happening to the actor. What he's saying it's happening. So he was seeking for that type of realism where things truly happen to the person, so that audiences can fully empathize. This was the acting part. So again, this coincided perfectly with the improvisation used in found footage and what the guys did, Mirik and Sanchez in the Blair Witch Project, because they didn't give a full script to the actors. So there were a lot of stuff that happened in the woods there that they were not prepared for, and they took it for real. I mean, of course, as an actor, you know that it's not real when it happens to you, but nonetheless, you take the blow. When the info hits you, which
Yeah.
you did not expect, you take a part of it is real, if not full of it. So
Well, you're in like almost a
um,
hypnotized state at that point.
no, I wouldn't call it a hypnotized. I would say no, here's how I would put it. What he was trying to do, this kosher, and what I'm trying to do when I direct films. I'm trying to kind of create a parallel reality, where actors live and breathe and exist within their characters and within their environment. So that's why if I were ever to direct a movie, I don't know, with a bunch of friends living in a cabin in the woods, I would take the actors and I would tell them, hey, like for at least 2 weeks, maybe a month, if possible, just stay there, live together in that cabin in the woods, and build those connections between your characters. Talk with the improvise. Talk with say to each other the things that your characters would say to each other. So then, little by little, day after day, you will find yourself living in a parallel reality there, separate from your actual life and your actual reality. And then at the end of that period, when I come with the camera to record what's happening there, I don't have to direct anymore. I don't have to tell you, oh, you go there, you say that, because you are already the character. So I come there and I'm even shy to enter the camera there because I feel like I'm entering into a reality which is already living and breathing all by itself. It's the magic is already there. So practically, this is my adaptation of Jon Kožar's method, which he was trying to do in acting in Romania. And the third part of his method was the pedagogical one. The way he was working, he was approaching the work with students, and this is a bit more complex and a bit more. Uh, he was talking a lot about these. I haven't talked in a lot of time about these parts because I mostly focused on the acting and directing. He was talking a lot about despecialization. Always, one of his favorite words, and he said like the student shouldn't learn to do things. He needs to be despecialized when he becomes an actor. To like all his preconceived ideas, everything he knows about the people and about the world and everything needs to be taken out, taken out, take out, take out, take out, take out, take out all the layers till you are the pure human being that you are, and only then on that pure thing, only then that one can be the psyche of an actor can be modeled upon that, and from that you can find it's easy for you to model on all the characters in the world, because if you already come with preconceived ideas, you will judge characters. You won't be able to be vulnerable to become anything you want in the world. But if you come as a clean white sheet, and everything can be written on that sheet, any type of character. So he was a lot about this type of despecialization and freedom and the acting class, and that's why his teacher worked with us this way. And it was a true pleasure. We would go even in weekends to in the acting lab and stay over hours. It was a crazy time. Yeah, yeah.
How do
And he
you
also had this.
despecialize yourself?
Yeah, how do you despecialize yourself? That's a good
Yeah.
question. Uh, I I don't remember exactly what were the methods. It's been so many years since I haven't thought of this stuff. I would have to again go through his book and through his method, because let's say
But
like
don't you
15
think you
years ago.
did that at least for We Put the World to Sleep? Like you had to become a clean sheet to then create 7 years of in live in this world?
uh, so it's okay. Let's break let's break things into
Yeah, no,
let's
sorry. I
break all
speak
this.
very
No, no,
a
no,
large term, so I
no,
apologize.
no, no, no. It's okay. No, 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 no. Nothing to say sorry about. The things that I'm talking about actually are more complex, and I need to break them into pieces because otherwise they become confusing for you and whoever is listening. So there are multiple processes for an actor, at least in what I'm concerned in the method that we work here.
Mhm.
So first, there is the process that happens once you enter the school. This method, and that is where you start to develop uh, a um, psychological mechanism of an actor. Like throughout the school years, uh, you got to be equipped psychologically to be able to assume and to make yours things that are not yours. Regardless if it's a different way of thinking, a different way of walking, a different way of talking. So you need to make these things yours, or to find them within you. Practically, that was more like his method. His method was not from the outside on the inside, one was from the inside. So he was like, um, looking deep within yourself and see what is it that you think, is there at least a drop that you might have in common with that character. you know um, and if there is a drop, then you need to put aside everything else that you have, because this is part of the despecialization a little bit. Put aside everything else that is within you that makes you, and leave only the part that is common to the character. Okay, so I don't know. Let's give an example. You have a murderous psychopath. You think about yourself. Oh, but I'm not a murderous psychopath. I need to pretend to be one. No, if you will pretend to be one, that would be fake acting. That would be bad acting. Okay, so people won't empathize with that. What you need to do is to find if you ever in your life ever had an impulse of, I don't know, what is this guy doing? Is he attacking somebody? Is he killing somebody? Did you ever feel, I don't know, angry? Did you ever have an obsession, at least minor obsession, towards a person or towards an object or towards something in this world? Is there ever in your life, let's look really carefully there, even for a second, even for a minute, is there something? And once you find that common thing, even very, very tiny, very little, with the psycho, then let's have a discussion. What kept you from going that path in life? Was it your education? Was it the school? Was it the mother? Was it the church? Was it the society? Okay. Okay. Then let's try to rewind and take away everything that stopped you from going on that path. Take out the education, take out the what your priest told you, take out what your parents told you, take out what the society told you, and what you are left with that little minor impulse to, I don't know, to kill, if this was this psychopathic killer. And then you start building upon that. But it starts. Did you get kind of?
Yes,
This is
yeah.
one of the methods. So he was more like, not about adding. So it was about building characters, not by adding, by pretending. Oh, but I'm not a. I have to become somebody that I'm not. No, that's the most wrongful approach to acting. No, you need to take, instead of adding things for your character, you need to take away things from you, erase things from your personality, till only the ones that are at least slightly similar to the character are left, and only then you build only upon those, practically. So a lot of the time in the acting school was spent towards us building a psychological mechanism of being able to do this, but also being able to turning back to yourself afterwards. Well, if you do this and you are not equipped, then you go crazy, effectively. Like, you are not yourself at the end of this. Yeah, this is also dangerous, practically,
Mhm.
psychologically dangerous. So, as a professional actor, you should be able to do this in a uh, reasonable period of time, do it efficiently, and then turn back to yourself. So, in during acting, there is this process during acting school where your mind is being prepared to do this type of to do this type of uh, switching to character in and out of character. This is the first process. Then there is the process of working on a role. Okay, once you already as an actor you develop you already once you already acquired this mind of an actor, then you start applying it, which is actually assuming a role practically when you develop a character. And then there is the third type of process, creative process, which is the moment the camera starts rolling, when the character, which is already assumed, again he needs to go through a genuine process in front of the camera. Again, he needs to go through a genuine transformation in front of the camera. Like, I mean, he needs to reach from point A uh, to point B. Practically, that's the arc in a film or in a theater show. The arc, the
Yeah.
transformation that the character is going through. So practically, in his method, or of course, my method is not exactly on Kojar's method. My method is even crazier. I pushed it even further.
I know,
I
because
put
I'm
the
about
art
to
to
be
sleep.
everything you're saying. I'm like, it seems like you went past that level. You went to the you went past the you said it took you a year to get out of character this time.
Yeah, because I was crazy and I stayed 7 years in it. I
Why?
mean,
Why did it take 7 years?
why did it take 7 years? Well, first of all, because I wanted to do this film with improvisation, and also to see if it's possible to also discover the story, to also discover parts, not full story, pieces of the story as we go along. I wanted to push things further with improvisation, because I realized that improvisation is the key, the key to creativity. When you don't know exactly everything that's going to happen, that's when the most natural that's when the most natural things come up, especially in found footage. I realized how essential is this type of naturalism for found footage. So I thought, okay, if things work so well with Be My Cat, with discovering at least a part of the dialogue during improvisations although it was a very controlled improvisation. You cannot improvise. That's another thing that a lot of people do wrong with found footage. They think like, oh, let's just go in the woods with the camera, and we have a movie. But no, you can go in the woods with the camera, but you got to go with characters who have already with an assumed goal, the way I did practically with Be My Cat, like living for a year in character. Because then when you put a character in the woods, he would, like an arrow, will go for his goal practically, and then you have a movie. so
Yeah.
so for this type of realism, a lot of work is done in advance, before the actual production, before the actual shooting begins. The huge amount of work is done before. So since this works so well with Be My Cat, I thought, what about pushing things even further with We Put the Work to Sleep?
To a
I mean,
dangerous
not just
level.
pushing, not just putting the character into the woods. I'm talking in terms of Larry's project. It's easier.
Totally. Yeah,
Not
yeah, yeah.
just putting the character into the woods. What about if we allow the characters to improvise and maybe even go out of the woods, maybe even take a plane and go to Tokyo, and we follow them and see what they do in Tokyo, and then from Tokyo, I don't know, they decide to, I don't know, go to another place, do something else. I wanted the characters to, as their psychology evolves and their goals maybe even change, and then the location changes, and everything changes, like the story, everything is a discovery. So as you can understand, probably this discovery requires a long period of time, but it was not meant to be 7 years. It was meant to be long, but it was meant to be maybe like a year or two at most. What happened? This what happened. There were a lot of times when we were shooting, we were going into a certain direction. We put the words, and it was good. It was not bad. It was really good. And at some point, uh, our characters during impro, the psychology and things that were happening and everything else, they had no more reason to record anymore, to shoot. Like literally, there was no reason for them to shoot anymore. They would, they, it was correct. It was good. I mean, it was not a mistake in terms of directing and acting. Everything was okay. But obviously, we cannot move forward because it's a found footage film. So if they don't record, who is going to see what they are going through?
Yeah.
And so it's not like I can change the filmmaking style mid through and all of a sudden make the transition from farm footage. It doesn't work this way, and we didn't have the budget for that to make the transition to classical filmmaking mid production.
Yeah.
So because of that, we imagine we were already on a psychological path that has been developed a couple of months. So then there's a huge setback when that happens. But then you need to take a break, like a month or two, to really psychologically and everything and logistically and in terms of a lot of stuff, in terms of money and lots of stuff. Okay, take a setback and rewind and change direction. And this happened 2 or 3 times actually, of stopping, rewinding, and changing direction actually. And another thing that happened, we arrived at some point during improvisation with the action, with what they were doing and what they were trying to do. We arrived at moments that would require a much bigger budget than we actually had. I mean, I don't want to say things because then I can spoil stuff from the movie, but
Yeah.
some places where they would have loved to go, or some things that they would have loved to do, they were impossible to show on screen unless we had like really hundreds of thousands at least of dollars, and which we did not have. And that was again a setback. Again, take a month or two break, see, okay, let's rewind again to a point in their evolution as characters. Let's rewind to a previous point, and let's make them choose a different direction because this direction leads to too much money being spent. So imagine this happening multiple times, and then the final hit when the pandemic came as well. So and then at some point we were also scammed by a producer. Like they were on top
You
of
got
the
scammed
creative.
by a producer?
Oh yeah, like on top of the creative obstacles, there were also these types of
What
obstacles.
happened?
Yeah, so there was this guy who wrote to us, and he said he wanted to make a film with us, and me and Duru is my wife and creative partner. We put the work to sleep together, and we were supposed to write. I mean, not we were supposed to. We were writing. I mean, we signed contracts with this guy and everything. Um, so we were writing a script to make a movie with him, like a more of a Hollywoodish production, with bigger companies. And he said that, oh, he heard about my first film, about Be My Cat, and stuff like that. And interesting enough, he anyway. I'm so sorry. I don't want to talk about this. I
I
just realized.
understand. I understand.
I
No, I
wanted,
understand.
yeah,
Things
yeah,
happen. Things happen in the
yeah,
production
yeah.
that make it that you can't do it
Yeah,
anymore.
so the idea, okay, yeah, you know what? For a second, I wanted to go into the story, and then I realized, like, I'm kind of traumatized by this thing, because it really took. Just a second, Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you please? Yeah, yeah. I don't feel like going even there. I don't feel like going in there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Duro was telling me to talk about a certain story about this producer, but I really don't feel like really don't feel like going into that
No,
direction.
I
Uh,
understand if it's too much.
yeah,
I get it. Yeah.
it's too
You've
much. It's
also
too much
you've
because
lived in this for so long that it's so personal to you that I get that and I understand.
no, yeah, the thing is that he made us because he said like, oh, don't do we put the work to sleep anymore the way you want to do it, and we are going to make it a series, part of a series, like a mini series and stuff like that. So I canceled the project. So for about 2 years of our lives, we worked on this fake project that he presented to us, which we thought to be real, and we put all our efforts into writing that script. So practically, this again took 2 years of our lives instead of moving forward with we put the work to sleep. So yeah, this was a huge blow at the end when we realized the scam that this guy lied and fake signatures on contracts and everything was fake about
Oh,
him
it
and the
was that
companies.
bad.
Oh no, like not scam, just like really like a
Oh,
very, very
fuck that
complex scam.
guy. Fuck that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah. So he was writing to us from emails. I mean, no, we were receiving emails. Um, uh, uh, one second, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I cannot focus both here, because my wife has also been very much affected by this. She's telling me like, "Oh, say about that, say about
Yeah,
that," you know.
yeah.
Like, I'm yeah. So yeah, we were receiving emails from his collaborators. Um, and he claimed to be working with certain companies. So we were receiving emails from those persons and those companies, signed contracts with them and stuff like that. And then we realized that when we actually called the companies after a while, because we called them um, when we called at some point the companies to learn. I'm so sorry. So can you a little bit wait for me one second?
Yeah, yeah, no problem at all.
I'm so sorry for this. I'm so sorry for this. 1 second, and then you can make a cut then into the
Yeah, yeah,
into
we'll edit
the.
it. No problem at all. I'll edit.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Oh, let's see. You might have to change the speakers again, the microphone again, like you did before. Oh, wait. Can't hear you. Can you
Do
hear
you hear?
me? Oh, I can hear
Yeah,
you. I can hear you. There we go.
yeah, I don't know. The headphones didn't want to connect after I put them in
No
the
problem. No
thing.
problem.
I'm so sorry for this.
No,
Yeah.
no problem at all.
Yeah, yeah. So I was telling you that we received these. You still the sound is still good, right? Even
Yeah,
from
sound is
the.
still perfect.
Okay, good, great, great. So we were receiving these emails, from which we thought they are from these companies that he was working with. And
Hmm.
then when we actually called these companies after all these 2 years, because we saw that, of course, he was constantly inventing reasons for postponing the project and for postponing paying us for writing the script. So when we finally called the company, they said, "Oh, we never heard of these guys." And then when we learned that he created fake emails to look like the emails of those people, and we thought we are talking with those people, but it was still this guy behind those emails. So it was a very, 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 very elaborate.
Traumatic. Traumatic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's
Was it hard to go back to the project after that and like reinvigorate yourself?
yeah, it was hard. It was hard because he felt very real. Like he even came at some point, he even came to Romania. Actually, uh, like he didn't scam us in the sense that he requested money for us from us or anything like that. Because that's why he also looked real. He even paid us an advance for writing the script.
Yeah.
Like he really looked like the real deal, and had an audition in Romania and all that. So. So yeah, it was a shock when all this wasn't real at the end of it. So it was hard. It was hard to return to all that because we at that point we totally put everything on hold. We put the world to sleep, like everything, because he said we are going to do it with like a bigger scale production, with different companies, not like really the indie way. So
Yeah.
then we had to turn back again to our indie ways.
How did it
And
feel finishing it then? Like, was it?
we put the world to sleep. Um, you will see in the film. You will see in the film. Yeah, you will see. Yeah.
Well, no, no. I mean, like, how did it feel? Like,
Huh.
did it feel good? Like, are you done with it? Like, was it just so much of your life that you're ready for the next thing? Or are you happy it's done? Or are you excited for the world to see it? Or,
I'm a bit stressed, honestly, of how the people will take We Put to World to Sleep because it's different from Be My Cat. It's um both because of the creative ambitions, like and also one of the main goals of We Put the World to Sleep was to combine the metaphysics of 2001 A Space Odyssey, which is one of the films that impressed me the most as a teenager and practically pushed me towards being interested in this art of film. And so practically I wanted to combine the metaphysics of that movie with the realism of the Blair Witch Project. So we had these ambitions, which one might say that they are a bit too much for an indie production, you know. It's, and also this both the concept of the movie story wise speaking, and also the way we worked on it, pushing things to the extremes with improvisation and living in character and discovering the story. um I don't know. I'm a bit scared of how people will take this movie. I gotta be honest.
I mean, it's like the story of Eraser. When hearing you say that reminds me of, like the story of Eraserhead being made, like living on set and just not knowing. But I think that's sometimes where the best art comes out of.
Yeah.
Because
I
it's
mean,
out of your hands at this point, right? Like
yeah.
it's really up for how the people feel about it.
But with Be My Cat, here's the thing. With Be My Cat, I was I felt I was so sure of myself with Be My Cat. Do you know that? Like with Be My Cat, although it was my it's like literally I never held a camera before in my life before shooting Be My Cat. I only had acting studies. I didn't have film studies. I just watching and studying and researching movies all my life, but not actually shooting movies or actually using a camera. And by the way, that was I could have learned, I could have did some tests before shooting Be My Cat, but intentionally I kept myself from doing that. And guess why? Because I thought, just a second, this guy, he is having his first camera to make this film for Hathaway. Therefore, it is realistic that whatever clumsiness with the camera I will have, they will become his clumsiness. So intentionally, I kept myself. So literally, the first shots in the movie are actually me shooting. I think the first time with the camera. I think before only a minute I shot before, which is not in the movie or something like that. Other than that is me actually using a camera for the first time in my life. And by the way, I did not have a phone that records back in the days. So I had an old model of phone. So actually, like,
Pure is the third one.
um, pure. Yeah. Sorry. Before going to pure, I was telling you something about Be My Cat because you asked me about this,
Oh,
how it
yes,
feels.
yes,
So,
yes.
so yeah, no problem. So, so, so I, although I didn't have this, so I learned everything while going along. Whenever an obstacle came, like, oh, now I have the movie. What do I do? I need to edit it. How do I edit it? I Google. Oh, so there are editing programs, linear and non-linear. What is linear? What is non-linear? Oh, this. How do I use this? How do I use that? Like literally, it's been like months. It's been like crazy. Like the process of me making Be My Cat it was like schooling. It was like college masters and doctoral degrees.
Yeah.
Everything self-taught at every point of the way. Okay, let's take a break. Let's learn how to do it. Let's Google everything, read all the information, and then continue. This is how I didn't income. But at the same time, I had this, it's like this invisible power or force was helping me. I knew that this was going to be successful. I can't explain it to you. I knew that this is going to work, and it's going to be good, and it's going to reach people. It's going to be, I just knew it. I just felt it. And for We Put the World to Sleep, I have more fear. I don't have that same um, uh, I don't know. I don't know how to say that beginners enthusiasm that everything is going to be okay. I think I'm more fearful, probably because I'm also afraid that people will make comparisons with Be My Cat. You know, Probably that as well. Maybe also the expectations, because back then I was nobody. So there were no expectations on me to to deliver something good. On the contrary, the expectations was like, oh, look, another guy wants to make a movie. Most probably he will fail. So therefore it was easy for me to show to people that I can do something. But now the expectations are different. Oh, this Be My Cat. He must do good things. Let's wait. And then, oh, just a second, guys. What if I don't do this time? So probably the expectations are taking a toll on me. Yeah.
And the
Sorry for
third,
going
no,
sorry for going
this is
into
on,
these
truly, this is one of my favorite I've done over 400 episodes, and this is one of my
ah
favorite I've done. Thank you very much.
thank you for
I
that.
really enjoy hearing you talk because I had no idea. I've listened to your interviews, but I like to talk to someone and figure out who they are and why they create, and I really like that. I really like that. So
I'm
I
glad.
do want to talk about Pure, and then I know it's Christmas Eve. It's almost probably Christmas at your time, so I'll let you go. But Pure, so how is this whole thing affected how you're going to make Pure?
This whole thing affects how I'm going to make sure that with Pure, I'm going into the opposite direction in the sense that as little improvisation as possible, as much structure as possible. Like very clear, very as much scripted as but still I'm going to still use a degree of improvisation because I believe that's really needed for to have natural performances, and that's very important to have natural performance. That's crucial for any movie. You don't have that, you don't have a movie. So I'm gonna still leave like 25% import, but I want 75% structure. I don't want the madness of We Put the World to Sleep. This on one hand. On the other hand, we are not going to live in character indefinitely because that is dangerous psychologically. I don't want to struggle 1 year afterwards to find myself again.
Yeah.
and and I don't want to look past at my Facebook posts and to wonder, hmm, was this me or my character?
What is it about? What's the like, not giving away too much, but what's the story of it?
Uh, so the living in character will be shorter. I'm going to put literally limits. I'm gonna require the actors. I'm responding to your question in a second.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
no.
I'm gonna. I kind of learned. I learned a lot actually from We Put the World to Sleep and Be My Cat. So from Be My Cat, I learned that in order to have a successful movie, it's absolutely essential to allow the people, the actors, to live in character on location so that already an environment, an intimate reality, parallel reality is created there that looks real. That is crucial. But then from We Put the World to Sleep, I learned that it can be disastrous if you push it too much, you know. Um, uh, it shouldn't be, you know, art shouldn't require psychologists afterwards, you know, and in my opinion, or at least I heard that now productions do have higher productions. They do have. There is this new job I just read. By the way, I'm making a short parenthesis here. I've read that now productions have this de de-rolling. Or like to take you like they have a professional psychologist that helps actors get rid of the role at the end of the production.
You're like, I
This
needed that.
yeah, it's like yeah, it's needed. But anyway, my goal with Pure is hopefully to do it good, but without messing our minds and doing it too much. So sorry. Now, can you ask me again the question because I
Oh
forgot?
yeah, what's the like synopsis of Pure, like the short without giving away too much?
The, I don't think it's good to say anything actually about.
Anything? Okay, all right.
Yeah, did I say anything on
No, you didn't say anything. You haven't said
anything on
anything about
no
it.
no it's that's there are clues by the way in that poster that I put. Of course that's a project poster. Most probably this will not be the actual poster of the movie, but there are a lot of clues there, like really a lot of what Pure will be about.
All right, but you don't want to I understand though.
Yeah,
What
I
was
think it's
the most like dangerous or what was the lowest point of you being in character?
for the second chapter of for the second chapter in which you will see the second. So you put the word to sleep, you will see that it has kind of two chapters, and you will see the second chapter, and when you will see the what's there, you will understand what was my lowest point.
Okay.
Yeah, you will
And then
understand.
final question, what are your favorite found footage films?
My favorite found footage films. Yeah, it's okay. So I gotta start with the Blair Witch Project because I cannot say that the Blair Witch Project is the film that I want to rewatch. I did rewatch the movie like I think 3 or 4 times, and um, I cannot say that every time I watched it I liked it more or I discovered more things within it, and that is probably because I think I need, as a filmmaker and also as a human being, probably I'm inclined towards the to have it towards having deeper meanings in a movie, you know, more like metaphysical, you know, like as a soul, I'm more towards Terrence Malick, you know, the tree of life, you know, what is the meaning of life?
Yeah.
And they are just lost in the woods and they talk about the witch that wants to kill them. There's no meaning of life there. That doesn't mean that they did something wrong with the film. You know, that's the concept. You know, it's not about it's not Hamlet there. But I guess me as a person, as an artist, wants more. So because of that, uh, the Blair Witch Project was an enormous influence for me professionally. Like half of what I've learned on how to make a movie, how to work with actors, how to make a found footage film, you know, specifically philosophy and everything. It's from the Blair Witch Project and specifically from reading on IMDb trivia how they made the Blair Witch Project. That's why I also filled. I
I
feel
have seen
my cat's IMDb trivia with the way I made Be
I
My
think you're
Cat.
the only filmmaker who has ever said that they learned how to make films from IMDb trivia ever.
No, I can give you an example. Do we still have time, or are we
Yeah,
going
of course, we can keep. Yeah, yeah. I just didn't want to take up your time.
No, but no, come on. I'm fired up now, so I gotta talk.
We're going till Christmas morning.
Yeah. So
We're
yeah,
gonna hear
no,
Santa Claus come down.
yeah. So I think one of the things what was the thing that clicked the most for me that I read on IMDb trivia? Um, mm, I think it was there. I think I already talked like a little bit. I touched this idea, you know, the fact that they were sent there in the woods, you know, and with little food, so their ratio was limited. uh, they knew kind of general points that they had to hit, but they didn't know the exact details, what will happen on the path towards reaching those points, you know. So this allowed for genuine surprises. This allowed for a certain type of stress for them, an assumed and accepted stress, you know. Um, so it's not like, oh, the director is abusing the actors by giving them less food. No, the directors met before with the actors, said, hey, you will have less food because we want you to be stressed. And they were like, yeah, we are actors, we want to be pushed to our limits because we want to have these performances. So
Yeah.
it's like a how should I say, it's like uh, those games, you know, how do they call them? Uh,
Like the reality TV shows.
like consent. I don't know how it's called.
I know what you're
Anyway,
talking about though. Like in
yeah, yeah.
Strange Darling. Like yeah, like I get what you mean.
No, when you agree to a certain creative process, practically, where you know that at some point you will be put in difficulty, you know. You know that you won't know all this, everything that will happen, and you know that you will be put in difficulty, but you agree to that process because you want to be put in difficulty as an actor, practically. So I learned, and this was written on IMDb trivia. And at first, maybe for, I mean, I don't know what other people understood when they read that, but for me, just reading those couple of lines on how they work with the actor, that's an entire doctoral thesis on, it can go very deep, metaphysically, and in terms of the philosophy of directors working with actors and stuff like that, and creating an environment, like the director, being like God, but a God that's not a dictator, a God that gives freedom, because look, this is the positive image of God, although he is God and he oversees everything, he never tells us what to do, this is the positive, like
Like an observing. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's giving us full freedom. So at the same time, he has full power, but at the same time, giving us full freedom. So at the same time, is the director in a found footage film. Okay, he sets all the circumstances in motion. He creates the environment, but then he puts you there and gives you full freedom to hop around. But he knows that you will hop around according to his wish, because he put an obstacle here, he put an obstacle there, so he knows that there you will stumble, he knows that there you will feel that. Okay, so you are free, you are fully living and breathing as a human being. The audiences see that and they say like, wow, this is so real. But at the same time, everything is so directed, by the
Yeah.
mastermind behind. So these things I did learn from IMDb trivia, literally, and combined with combined,
Well,
but
you
of
had
course,
learned it from your theater training and you had put it into filmmaking when you
yeah,
saw the IMD trivia.
yeah, exactly. Probably without the basis from my acting training, this method, because this is the same way we kind of worked in the acting lab, with this teacher. He
Hmm.
also had the same idea that you cannot know everything what will happen. Of course, our acting improv was scripted. Okay, we had a script, but we were always told, like, that you need to forget the script. Like, for
You're
example, we
supposed,
were.
yeah, you're supposed to learn your lines so well that you don't remember them anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
let me give you an example. At some point, there were these long acting exercises that would take hours for just a very one single line. Okay, so there was this acting exercise. There were two people in a bar. Okay, there was a man and a woman, and the man observes the woman and tells her only this: "You can come sit with me if you want," because he observes her that she's alone, and you cannot believe it. So the acting exercise begins. So the boy, because we were boys, boys and girls in the acting school, so says to the girl like, "Oh, you can come here with me if you want." And of course, the scene is longer. There are many more lines. It goes on and on and on. And then the teacher says, "Stop. Why did you say that?" Because no, but you didn't. I didn't see that you actually had the reason to say it. Like you say it because it's written there. But I look at you and you didn't really, in reality, felt like saying that thing. I mean, did you look at her? Did you see if you like her or not? And then he again and he again and again. So literally, he did. We worked on that single line for hours because it didn't happen for real. Okay. And then the second part, when the girl finally said when the girl finally got up from her chair and came to the guy, the teacher again said, "Stop. Why did you get up and go? Like if you are in a bar somewhere and a guy says something like that, you get up and go. Did he convince you? No. And oh my God, another hour or two or three, I forgot of working on that thing till the girl was actually really convinced to get out, get up from that chair.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the level of realism that he was looking, where things are not acted, where things are truly happening for real. So um, just to give you an example how crazy, how idealistic the school I did was here in Romania. I'm so blessed, that there was this genius who actually did this, because there were many other teachers and there were other doing, and I see how they are working, and unfortunately, yeah, it's not even close to what I did. So yeah, really really blessed that
I
this
haven't
happened.
forgotten my last question. I will ask it again, but I need to put a parenthesis in there. Were you always a good actor? Is that something you were naturally born to do?
I don't know.
Was that
I
always
don't.
what you wanted to do? Like when you were a
Uh,
kid?
as a kid, it's interesting. As a kid, I never thought of being an actor as a kid. But I do remember that. I do remember that during classes there are breaks. There are 10 minutes breaks, and there is a bell ringing. Just like in
Hmm.
that Britney Spears song, but we have actual bells. It was like a non-automatic ringer, like jingle bells. Like the Christmas
Yeah.
ones, and
Hmm.
and exactly, and the kid would actually do that on the hallways when it was ringing. So when the
Not
bell
like a
was
big bong.
no, 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 little one like this, like yeah. So when the bell was ringing, and I remember all. So here's the thing. During in breaks, in between classes, I was shy, and I was the kid who was more like shy, more like being bullied, and especially other boys who are like more like in their element there, like fighting around and being the strong ones, and going all around and stuff like that. And I was sitting in my desk actually. I was a bit afraid to go out on the hallways in the school, mostly in order to not get bullied and stuff like that. I was really trying to. But when the class, when the bell rang for the class to begin, and everybody got into their seats before the teacher entered, because sometimes teacher was late for 10 or 10 second, 10 or 5 or 10 minutes, the teacher was late. So when everybody was in their seats, that's when I got up. And I remember every time I was going in front of the class, and I was doing some sort of scene, pretending to be a drunk person. I was playing this. I'm talking about elementary school, like 7, 8 years old, So I
Yeah.
was doing this, pretending to be all these characters, and everybody was laughing. And I never thought of it as acting or anything like that. Only many, many years later, when I actually became an actor, I looked back and I realized, oh my God, the stuff that I was doing back then, like so just by looking at my history and what I was doing back then, um, the idea of getting your power back, like when uh, getting your power back through acting, because then the bullies were no longer powerful, they were wait in their desk waiting for the teacher to come in, and I was in power in that moment, I was the one on the stage practically. So getting my power back as a human being and my dignity and my respect through acting, through being in front of the people, through performance, I believe this is something that probably continued in my life. I
When did
mean,
it feel like concrete? When did you know that that was going to be the thing you followed?
uh, at some point in high school, there was a guy who came at some point and promoted some acting classes. And I remember telling my mom about those classes, and she said, "Oh, go have them," because my mom was always afraid that I was shy. I was shy. I was a little bit like withdrawn from and not having friends or not socializing and stuff like that. So she thought that acting classes would do me good, would open me up, to be
Hmm.
more of worldly person. Or yeah.
Did you have
So
siblings?
no, no.
I'm an only child too. Single mom.
Yeah. Oh,
All right,
yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Wow. So
yeah.
you
Lonely
know,
childhood. I get it.
yeah. Yeah. So that's what. So I did those classes, and then it coincided. It was 100 years from the year that high school was founded, practically. And because it was 100, normally we didn't have a theater group. There was no such thing. That was a technical high school. By the way, back in the days, my huge passion was physics and electrics. So nothing to do with art. And by the way, I did 1 year before acting. I did 1 year of physics, nuclear physics, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. But if we go there, it's too much. Yeah. Um, so yeah, because it was the centenary of our high school, the principal of the high school decided, oh, you know what? Let's do a theater group and have a show. And of course, who would they take for the group other than the ones who already did those little acting classes? So I volunteered for that. So I played, and I think that's when I started to like it. That's when I started to make the transition from being having this passion for science and stuff towards acting, wanting both acting and directing. Always, I remember from the beginning, kind of wanting both both kind of equally, I would say.
Yeah. But you went all the way into like full on method acting. It wasn't like you fell in love with it hard.
Yeah, it had to do a lot with the again with the type of method, with the
Yeah.
teachers, because it's very important. Because in the first day in school, in the first day in the acting school in college, the teacher, the first thing that when he entered the class, he said, uh, acting is not lying, is not acting, is not pretending. We came here to discover the deepest truths within ourselves. Like that was wow, because everybody comes to the acting class, to school, thinking that they will act. And here, there, you have the teacher in front of you, the acting teacher, who say, no, we are here exactly to not act, to learn how to not act, and to be ourselves and to discover the deepest truths within the corners of our minds.
So you
That's
went to college for acting, not science?
first. Okay, first I applied at the University of Theatre and University of Theatre and Film in Bucharest. That's the greatest. Not, no, no, not the greatest. That's the biggest acting school in Romania. And I failed the exam. They didn't take me because they had all types of technical stuff. I mean, I don't know. They told me I have a problem with my diction. I don't know. They were very old school with their rules. Like their acting exam was not based on. I don't know. Anyway, the idea is that I failed the exam.
Yeah.
That's the main point. And back in the days, it was a lot talked about. I'm not sure how true it is or how untrue, but many people talked about corruption in the acting exam. I mean, a lot of the students who would take the exam at that school, later I learned that they were taking classes with the teachers in the committee that were actually running the exam. So that's a bit of a conflict of interest there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I didn't have the money, being like a single and single parent, and the single parent was in the in the 90s, which was the most horrible situation for Romania. It was immediately after the fall of communism, so the scarcity was horrific in the country. So no, there was no such thing as me having money to pay to have acting classes with teachers, you know. So I
Yeah.
literally just prepared myself, you know. I just learned some poetry and some stories, you know. So in that regard, you can say that I have the stories from rags to riches. But I'm not rich yet, but considering where I came from, thanks God, like I'm good right now, considering the um um yeah. Yeah, because I even to this day I remember
Is it's more stable now, the
mm,
country.
I oh the country, yes, much more. Oh yeah, yeah. The 90s were very bad, very very bad. The 2000s were transitional period, starting with kind of 2010. Things started to go well. No, now it's Romania is part of the European Union. Right now it went into a crisis, and it's a crazy thing. You can write. There's an article in the New York Times. If you write New York Times Romanian elections, the first big article, they made a very good summary of what's happening right now. So only now, after 35 years since the fall of communism, now, literally now, these days, we are at uh, at huge crossroads. You know, things can go very good or very bad. But all this time, till this year, in the last 20 years, things were okay, thankfully. Yeah.
Would you ever move?
Would I ever move? I would like to I would like to live here, but come to other places to make movies. Like I would love to just come to, I don't know, to America, to other places. Like I would
Have
like
you
to
ever been
work
to
on.
America?
No, I've never been to America. No, hopefully, hopefully with festival. Be My Cat. That was a um, Be My Cat was selected to the Nashville Film Festival in 2016, and it was not a genre festival. It was a general festival, which also had a genre section. So my calculation was that I'm sure that that genre section will not be the main event of the festival. So let's save the money and not go, you know, and stuff like that. But then, guess what? I won the award for best actor, and I was not there.
Oh no, you damn. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
this is crazy. Yeah, that's life. What can I do? So
Yeah. So you still have never been to America. That's wild.
yeah, I've never been there. Mhm.
How much
So
this is you can not answer this question, but how much did Be My Cat cost for you to make?
oh no, I can say this because I also put it on IMDb. I mean, maybe nowadays I wouldn't put the budget. I wouldn't make it open. But back then I was super open and already it's everywhere on the internet. Therefore, no
Yeah.
secret there. It's a $10,000. Yeah.
Wow. That's probably one of the lowest budgets I've ever heard of for a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, really low.
And then the question I asked that we got away from, other than Blair Witch, what found footage movies? Are there found footage movies you enjoy? Like, do you
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
that?
okay. I'm going to this, but now I realize that I didn't respond to your question because you asked me about did I study physics or something else. So when
Oh
I
my,
failed
yeah.
the
There's
exam
there's
at
been
the
so many questions that we we
yeah,
just blow past.
yeah, when I failed the exam for at the University of Theater and Film, I couldn't afford to. There were I think there was something in Romania. Oh yeah, yeah. So my father died when I was 6. So where for for families that one of the parents was dead, the child would receive a certain a certain amount of money from the state uh, in to compensate for that, for the absence of a parent. So, but you receive that till 18. But after 18, till 26, you receive it only if you continue your education. If you don't continue your education, you don't receive it. So when they did not accept me at the University of Theater and Film, I thought, okay, I my passion for physics is still alive, so let's try physics. Maybe I will do physics in this life. So I was admitted to physics. So I did 1 year of physics, but I realized it's not my thing. Like it's everything so I was such a practical guy, you know, such a to me, physics were so much about experiments and observing the nature, like letting things fall and seeing what they happen when they fall. I know very practically oriented I was when, and there everything was about mathematics, abstract things, not really connected to the real world. And I realized, oh, if those are required for physics, I can't do it. It's too abstract for me.
Yeah.
So after a year, I quit, and I tried. Guess what? Uh, I tried again at the University of Theater and Film. This time I tried, I think, directing, and again they didn't take me. And again later I learned that the ones that, in order to be taken, you need to have classes with the teachers. Unfortunately, which again I didn't have. So then, in order to make sure that I'm accepted into art school, I went to a newly opened school in a smaller city of Galați, a newly opened acting school, which everybody said that, oh my God, it's horrible, don't go there, don't go there. But I don't know, I just felt this thing, this calling to go there. Like literally, that was the worst scene acting school, I think, in the entire Romania. And also because I had these two failures, like they rejected me twice. There in that one, because everybody said don't go there, the competition was there was no competition there. Like almost everybody who gave the exam was admitted to that school. So I just went, you know what, I can't fight the system anymore or stuff like that. So I'm just going to go there. And guess what? It's unbelievable. And this place, which everybody says don't go, the best number one teacher from Bucharest, from that acting school, literally once a month or twice a month, he was hired by that other little school to come to fly from Bucharest. So literally, and the place that everybody says is hell, don't go. That is the place where I had literally the best teacher in the entire country. Our school had him.
And that was that
And
you knew that you were supposed to go there.
literally. And do you know that if I was accepted in Bucharest, I wouldn't have had him. Like that class where I kind of was rejected, other teachers which were not as good got those classes. So you see
Wow.
how things work in this life. Unbelievable.
That's
Unbelievable.
incredible. That's
It's
incredible.
really, really. And by the way, he was in the committee who rejected me in Bucharest.
Did you ever tell him?
Yeah, he recognized me. He saw
Oh,
me.
he was like, "Hey."
But he was still with his old um, he was still with his old, sadly, he, although he was such a great teacher in terms of acting, he still had these bad preconceived ideas that actors had need to have this perfect diction or something like that. Because I asked him like, oh, if we were to have again the exam, would you have still failed me? And he said, oh no, yes, because I believe and he is really wrong here. He's really wrong, because if he had failed me, there wouldn't have been Be My Cat. There wouldn't have been like everything that I did, all these
Yeah, and did
all
anyone
stuff.
else from that class go on to do anything? Like,
They are in theater. They are in theater, and in film, nobody did anything. But that's not because it's because I had this huge passion for film in Romania. Unfortunately, in acting classes, there's a lot of, at least when I studied. I'm not sure now. Maybe things change now, but when I studied acting, there's a lot of theater brainwashing. That is not intentional. It's like, because there is no film. There is no. We don't have this thing in Romania. This guerrilla indie filmmaker. Like all the teenagers wanting to be the next, wanting to do the next great indie movie, underground horror movie. There is no such thing, non-existent. This desire. All the actors who go to acting and stuff, they only think that theater exists. They cannot even think of film. It's something so far away from people's minds. But I grew up with films, like when communism fell in Romania, I was 2 years old, and that's when they started to show on TV. That's when we had, for the first time, we had cable TV in Romania, by the way. because before there was only one channel and a lot of very few films were given in communist times, so there was dictatorship. And the last, I think there were only 2 hours of TV, some say uh, a day or sometimes very limited. And when I was a child, they put cable TV. And initially, because those were the first days of cable TV in Romania, and everything was a chaos in the country because it was the post-revolution times, where all the institutions a total mess. Nobody cared about anything. There were no restrictions. So they would show a lot of horror films, which normally they would be banned for minors and stuff like that. They would show them in the middle of the day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And parents were also not educated, you know. So I remember literally mom taking me as a child to watch all types of all types of stuff online, you know. Oh, no, online on
Do
the
you remember
TV.
what do you remember what films?
So I remember a film that impressed me a lot was Scary with Sissy Spacek. Like and you can see the influences in Be My Cat actually. They are not actually visible, but I can tell them to you because they are hidden within the concept of the character. It's this idea of this girl who is vulnerable, you know, and she appears vulnerable, but in the end brings the ultimate destruction upon everybody. And you can see that in my character, the way he smiles, you know, from
Yeah.
time to time. You know, he has that vulnerability, but also he is deadly. So there is this arc through time, you know, from me as a child watching Carrie up to this up to these days to Be My Cat. And also probably probably um my attraction towards paradoxical characters might also have to do with Carrie. Again, the same thing, you know, like ultimate power and of destruction combined with ultimate vulnerability.
Have
Uh,
you ever seen the Terrifier series
Terrifier
with
series.
Art the Clown?
No, I haven't. I haven't. I
I
think
would
I tried,
love to know what you
but
think because Art the Clown, the actor who plays him, David Howard Thornton, said he wanted to make like a killer, but he based it off of Mr. Bean.
base it what?
Mr.
Base
Bean, Rowan Atkinson, Mr.
Oh my,
Bean.
do you
So
know
it's
that my oh my God, this is crazy. My character in Be My Cat has a lot of inspirations from Mr. Bean.
really? Oh, you have to watch this now because I
Yes,
saw
I have a
that's
list.
crazy.
I have a list on IMDb of the films that influenced Be My Cat the most, and both Mr. Bean and the series Bean are there.
That's wild. Do you know what I'm talking about? Art the Clown? It's
I
like a
know which one. I know it's crazy. It's all over. You know, I guess I avoided it because everybody said that it's just a splash of blood, you know, and no story and that. So I guess
no,
that's
no,
why I
no.
didn't.
I disagree with that. Maybe the first one, but I disagree with that. I think there is a
Oh, okay,
I think you
okay.
would I think because you're an actor, you would enjoy the acting in it because it's horror's not known for good acting usually. So when you
Yeah.
see good acting in a horror movie, it's a whole different thing.
Oh, okay, okay. I think I tried watching the first one,
The
and
first one I think is the worst of the three when you really like.
which one should I watch? Should I watch the second or the
Yeah, watch the second one. Watch the second one.
watch the second? Okay, okay. Is
Yeah.
it too violent? Is it very sadistic?
That's you're asking.
Yeah, I have
You don't
I
like
can
you don't like gore?
when I felt really traumatized shooting the torture scene in Be My Cat.
That's so funny you saying that.
For many years I avoid rewatching the movie because of that scene.
Really? Why?
It's because while acting, um, I at some point uh, I when she was so real, you know, with those screams and everything. So at some point while acting, for some seconds, everything felt so real, and I felt that pleasure of her suffering, and immediately afterwards, I felt so disturbed and disgusted by myself. You know, I just couldn't take that. You know,
Was
for
that
for
the
a
worst
second.
part of filming? Was that the worst, like, for you?
Ah, and no, 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 no. That's because that's still it's still satisfying in a way because you did a good job as a director and as an actor. Because
Yeah.
it was hard, a bit hard emotionally for me. So
That movie might be tough for you though. It is pretty gory. It's pretty mean. It's like a mean-spirited movie.
uh, okay, I can try. I can try, but please allow me to turn it off without Damian Leone getting angry at me. This is his name, right? The
Yeah,
director.
Damien Leone, yeah.
Oh, because now I will feel really bad to turn it off because now he's really sympathetic to me hearing that he based the character on Mr. Bean. That's
That's so
I
funny.
already love him for doing that.
Has any horror directors reached out to you, like seen your movie and reached out?
Uh, that was in what to have me as an actor in their
No,
film.
just to say that they enjoyed it, like people that you had
Oh yeah,
watched or
yeah. I was really impressed with that. Yeah, I did get a lot, and I also have a lot of directors. I reached out to them as well. And for example, let me tell you some of the directors that we are in touch, and we mutually appreciate our work. I loved to see Lyman's uh, MOM Mothers of Monsters, a recent found footage, the relatively recent 2018, I think, or 20, I forgot, 20, I think. Mothers of Monsters, and then um, um, Graham. Why can't I say his name? Do you know that I always have a problem saying his name? I'm constantly talking, Graham Hughes, exactly. There's some people that I constantly talk with them, and I can't remember their names. I don't know
I'm the
why.
same way. Yeah, social media makes it so hard.
Yeah,
We're talking to so
yeah.
many
So
people.
Graham Hughes, who did Death of a Vlogger, I was very impressed with Death of a Vlogger as well. And then Steven DeGennaro did found footage 3D. Again, a movie that a found footage film that impressed me, a recent one. And back in the days when I did Be My Cat, I Exhibit A impressed me a lot, and I was in touch with the creator, with the producers and the writer of Exhibit A, and with the executive producer as well. And they even helped me with some feedback back then for Be My Cat.
Oh
I think
wow.
Exhibit A is such a masterpiece. So yeah, usually a lot of the found footage uh, uh, people that a lot of the found footage films for a lot of the found footage films I liked, I tried to get in touch with the directors, and some directors got in touch with me, yeah, when they like Be My Guest, So that's really cool. That's nice. The only thing that I would love is to actually get more than that, like come play something in my movie, but that didn't happen yet.
Yeah. I would love to see you act in someone else's film. I would
I would
love to see that.
so much. Do you know that I'm a bit tired of directing myself? I want so much one time in this because it's not, you know what? It's not just directing yourself. As an indie guy, so it's not even directing, producing, and acting in the sense that Mel Gibson did it because he did it, but he had a huge team behind. Here, I was a one
Millions of
man.
dollars, yeah.
So I hold the camera. I set the microphone levels. I need to sign the contracts. I need to take care of safety. By the way, at some point during shooting Be My Cat, that was the hardest moment actually in the movie. It was not creative. There was a bully from the neighbors who was drunk and was interrupting the shooting, and he was saying some words to one of the actresses and to me as well and stuff like that. So what was the biggest problem actually at some point? So I had to do everything by myself. So I would love one time to just be able to focus on living in character without, because now I need to, when I did, we put the word to sleep. It's a very weird thing. And I think this comes from the school that I did, thankfully. You need to compartmentalize, create different instances of myself in my head and switch between them. Like this part of brain is living in character. Okay, he is going on with his role, his goal, what he has to do. This other part of my brain things. Oh my God, tomorrow we need to shoot this scene. We got to do this. We need to sign that contract. We need to have money for that. The other part of my brain is like, oh, we need to also to promote it. I need to make this Facebook post. The other part of so literally little boxes of my brain that did multi all the jobs that normally a team of 100 people does in normally. So this can be really tiring after a while.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine, man. You're a huge inspiration and I really appreciate you. I can't wait to see We Put the World to Sleep. When's it coming out?
Now it's done, and we are waiting to hear from festivals. Like we submitted the movie to a number of festivals, and we are waiting to hear from them. You know, they are the the premieres. You know, the world premiere, the North American premiere, U.S. premiere, European premiere. There are a couple of premiere that will be crucial to the success of the film. And we hope and pray that they will be in big festivals or as big as possible for us
Yeah.
because we can't get Cannes and Sundance at this point. You need star power in films. You need a lot of connections, and you need to be a bit part of the bigger industry to get to these ones. But hopefully other great festivals and hopefully those premieres will be. Sorry, I started to get a bit tired here because it's 11 in the
We're
night for
wrapping
us.
up. I'm wrapping
Getting
it up
sleepy.
after this. So don't you worry. I know I've kept you a long time on
No,
Christmas Eve.
no, you didn't keep me. I kept it going. I talked. Yeah.
So you don't know exactly, but hopefully it'll be in the festivals.
In the festivals, the premiere, and hopefully in festivals we will find a distributor who put it as soon as possible on streaming platforms and make it available to people. And I just hope that all this ambition and all this work will abound to a final product that people will be able to connect with. You know, I have this fear. You know, I told you I have this fear. You know, there's this huge fear that um because you see people I don't know. Yeah, Francis Ford Coppola. Okay, like he took a huge risk with Apocalypse Now. You know, he went into the jungle and didn't come back, and everybody was talking that it was going to be a failure and stuff like that. And then he returned with the film that was hailed as a masterpiece. You know, and he got. But then you also have a lot of filmmakers, including himself. You know, now with Megalopolis, which I haven't seen but just by the reactions of it. I mean, the man worked for how many, 20 years or something or more, 40 years.
It
Like
was like 40 years, yeah.
yeah, like extremely ambitious, you know, it takes a truly a lifetime, you know. And then you read the reviews and you see him and the movie getting attacked everywhere. And then this makes you fearful, you know, that sometimes I'm not sometimes making sacrifices, you know, and putting a lot of passion doesn't always uh, strike a good chord with audiences and critics, you know. So that's why I guess the fear, you know, is yes, I'm aware that this does not the fact that I worked on so much on this that does not guarantee that oh everybody when they watch the movie you're going to be wow, you know. So yeah, it's
But I think you've created enough of an aura around yourself that people are so excited to see what you create next.
yeah.
Maybe you don't feel that, but I know from people I know as someone not inside the circle, I know, and I can't wait to see it. So, man,
Uh,
I mean, if it's in North America, I might travel to go see it in a festival. I want to see it
oh,
as soon
come,
as possible.
please do come and come say hello afterwards, you know,
Please,
because
I'm gonna champion you forever. I'm a fan of when you have
thank
your
you.
next project come out, maybe we can promote
All right,
that too. But thank you so much,
thank you
and
so much.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. Yeah.
All right,
I think this maybe somebody watch.
there we go. I hit
Yeah,
record again. I forgot to say where can people
no
find your
problem, Evan.
stuff.
So yeah, so whoever wants to support this 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 madness of a journey that we are we are on. Um, we have a Patreon page, so me and Duru practically that Patreon supports a part of the costs for the trilogy, and whoever helps us there, oh, things falling apart. Whoever helps us there um, um, gets thanks producer credits in the movie. For example, right now, because we put the word sleep is not yet released, it is although it is finished, the credits are not finished. I'm still waiting because there's still help that we get from people. And because the credits are not yet locked, whoever supports us now, either on Patreon or the movie, we put the word to sleep has a link tree. I'm not sure when you publish this podcast, can you also put some links at the
Yeah,
base
I'm
of
gonna put
the
all the links in the but it'll be
Okay,
on
I'm gonna
YouTube,
say
Apple, Spotify, and all the links will be below.
no, but can you put a link that I give you there? So for people
Yeah,
who want to,
yes, yeah, I'll put the links. Yeah.
okay. So I will send you the. So we have the Patreon. We also have a link tree for we put the word to sleep where there's a campaign there for the movie. So people can choose to support the project either on Patreon or directly on Linktree via PayPal. So while the credits are still not locked on we put the word to sleep, they will get the thanks and the producer credits on we put the word to sleep. Later, after the movie gets released, the all the support we get on Patreon will go for credits in the third movie in the trilogy, which is Pure. So yeah, this trilogy is really, it's really like at some point I had, let's see if I remember, the three symmetries of the trilogy, and Be My Cat dealing with the with all kinds of subconscious raw impulses. Um, uh, uh, as this we put the word to sleep is more rational. So Be My Cat is anchored kind of in the lower self, all types of primal impulses, such as in his case. I believe there are also sexual impulses which are repressed, and they are anyway. That's more complicated to go into his psychology now. And then we put the word to sleep. It's more anchored in the rational mind. It's more like it's more mental. Um, uh, it's more on that level. More, as I said, the 2001: A Space Odyssey meets the Blair Witch Project, a little bit more there. Um, and then Pure will be anchored in the supraconscious, in mysteries that are beyond reason. So that's how it goes. The trilogy, it goes from below to middle to to the higher self, practically. This is a symmetry. The other symmetry is that Be My Cat was half improvised, half scripted. We put the word to sleep is mostly improvised, and Pure will be mostly scripted. So again, kind of a symmetry. And another symmetry is that in Be My Cat, I was the lead actor, and we put the word to sleep. Both me and Duru are the lead actors, and in Pure, only she will be the lead actress.
Oh wow,
So
you won't be in it?
I might be in a supporting role, but I want to focus on directing so much on that one. So I'm not sure of the size and the length of that supporting role.
Have you started on the script or anything?
Um, this I have a I have a 2 pages, I believe, 1 page or 2 pages synopsis, and a lot of ideas for it. Even the first shot, I know the first shot. Like I have it in my mind. Yeah, it's a bit improper to say that it's not written yet because literally
Mhm.
the first scene of the movie, it's literally written in my mind. I can see it. It's just that I didn't put those
Yeah.
images on. Yeah. And there are a lot of other scenes. There are a lot of other moments throughout the movie that I see them as flashes in my mind. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait. And yeah, everything, if people want to find all of it, they'll be below. And everyone should go watch Be My Cat if they haven't. I can't wait to see We Put the World to Sleep. And man, thank you so much for your time and for everything.
Thank you so much for inviting me and for the great vibes and great attitude.
Yeah, this was a great conversation. It'll probably be out in like 2 weeks or so. I'll let you know when I release it. I'll tag you and everything. But thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey,